Welcome to our Sunday evening call to prayer on this, the 20th of June. To begin, we read a few verses from Mark's Gospel, chapter 4. That day when evening came, he said to his disciples, "Let us go over to the other side." Leaving the crowd behind, they took him along just as he was in the boat. There were also other boats with him. A furious squall came up, and the waves broke over the boat, so that it was nearly swamped. Jesus was in the stern, sleeping on a cushion. The disciples woke him and said to him, "Teacher, don't you care if we drown?" He got up, rebuked the wind, and said to the waves, "Quiet, be still." Then the wind died down, and it was completely calm. He said to his disciples, "Why are you so afraid? Do you still have no faith?" They were terrified and asked each other, "Who is this? Even the wind and the waves obey him." We're all in this together. When we hear such a statement, it implies that we share together in the difficulty being faced. No one is exempt, and we all have to face up to the challenge that confronts us. There are times, of course, we wonder if this is entirely true. Nevertheless, the last months have brought home to us the fact that in facing up to the challenge of the pandemic, no one is exempt. In the Gospel of Mark, the disciples find themselves in a boat one evening with Jesus. They have left the crowds behind and are in a situation in which they might have said, "We are all in this together." Except Jesus is asleep, even as a storm arises, and the waves beat into the boat, and the boat seems set to be overwhelmed. The disciples are all in this together, but what about Jesus? The disciples ask him, "Teacher, do you not care that we are perishing?" In response, Jesus rebukes the wind and calls to the sea, "Peace, be still." He then asks the disciples, "Why are you afraid? Have you still no faith?" It is as if he is asking them, "Did you think that I was not in this together with you?" The challenges of these last months have left us with many questions. However, we may be sure of this. In all we face, Jesus is with us in the boat, in the midst of the storm, and we can say, we are all in this together. We now pray. Lord of the winds and of the sea, be with us today, as we turn to you and listen for your voice, whether in the midst of quiet or of storm. Speak to the depths of who we are. Lord, in your mercy, hear our prayer. Lord of the winds and of the sea, be with us today as we leave behind that which is past and face the challenges of this day. Speak your word to us in this present moment. Lord, in your mercy, hear our prayer. Lord of the winds and of the sea, be with us today as we sense the depth of the challenges we face and fear that we shall soon be overwhelmed. Speak to us in the still, small voice of calm. Lord, in your mercy, hear our prayer. Lord of the winds and of the sea, be with us today as you have been with us in all the days that the storm has raged. Speak the words that calm the storm and cease the rage. Lord, in your mercy, hear our prayer. Lord of the winds and of the sea, be with us today as we hear the words you have spoken and know the peace of your presence renewed. Speak the words that inspire faith and reassure us of your abiding presence. Lord, in your mercy, hear our prayer. Amen.